Hi, thank you for taking the time today to meet with me. I wanted to talk to you about an issue that we have talked about in our staff meetings and a little bit when we talk about our budget and where we apply things for the Faith Formation Program. And as the parish business manager, you would have a lot of input as to a solution that I'm going to suggest to this issue as far as budget and facilities are concerned. So that's why I'm here today presenting this to you. So thanks for your time. What I want to talk about is parental involvement in catechesis. As you know, we have found out through our children that enter into the confirmation program as teens, there's a disconnect between the parent and the child. So the parent and the child don't seem to have a great verbal or foundational approach to being able to talk about their faith. They just aren't there, and I have to think that it goes back to what happened when these children were younger in the elementary grades, which is where I focus on with my program in faith formation. So when we think about that, we have to realize that these parents are meant to be the primary catechist of their children. We know that the Catechism tells us that we as catechists are here to supplement and to reinforce everything that's taught in the home, which we call the domestic church. So when the parents start out with a strong foundation, their children are able to build upon that. But if the parents are not giving their children the foundation at home, we're left with teens then, or then young adults, who don't know where they want to go with their faith. And so we need to see about how we can get the parents more involved in their child's faith formation. We know too that our society today puts a lot of pressure on our parents. They are driven to succeed in two areas primarily, which is educationally and with athletics. And it seems that the faith formation aspect is falling down on the priority scale. It is down at the bottom. The other things come first. That's what they're prioritizing for their weekends. That's what they're prioritizing for their children's time. So that is something that we have to consider and see how can we help these parents manage their lifestyle. As well, we think that the families need community. If they're going to be participating in a faith formation program, they have to feel that they're participating in a community that's welcoming and inviting. So we think that there must be a reason why they're not doing that, because they aren't participating. A few things that I've noticed about the situation is in the last 2 decades we have had an increase in working families. Whereas one parent used to work and one parent would be at home, we now have 2 parents working. And that definitely, again, is a factor in how their time is split up, where they tend to put their time, where they want to put their priorities. As well, we're also thinking about divorced families. What about how are we accommodating those families that only get to have their child every other weekend? Lastly, we know that families today are extremely overly committed. So where do we fall on that priority list? It was a funny thing I saw yesterday on a commercial, and it would totally, substantiated this fact, was that it was for a cellular company, and the father's picking up the daughter at karate and taking her to the soccer field, but everybody's looking at him because she's walking out on the soccer field with her karate outfit on, and then all of a sudden she whips the karate outfit off, and underneath she's in her soccer gear, so she was ready to go. And the dad's applauded for having made this wonderful lifestyle management. And it's just like, that's what their lives are like, and we have to consider that. So, and also too, we have to consider, why are they bringing the kids here? Are they bringing them out of obligation because the grandmother's taunting them it's time to bring the kids to the faith formation program? Or are they bringing them out of tradition? I was a Catholic, I want this for my child. And so we need to consider that. Also too, with these generations that we're dealing with, which are Generation X and the millennials, they like to be involved. They like to feel a sense of community. And it is statistically proven that all Catholic churches do not put adult faith formation as a priority. It is formation for the youth, and adult faith formation is much more sparse in most of our Catholic communities. So do we offer that person what they need as a young parent? Also, too, we need to expect them to pursue their relationship with Jesus. If they aren't having a personal relationship with Jesus, how can we expect them to pass on the faith? Lastly is that the parents that we're dealing with now are parents from a different generation. The techniques we used in the past are not going to work for this new group of parents. They just don't. Everything is changing. We're dealing with almost a generation who has had the internet since birth, these young parents. So we have to consider that whenever we're dealing with these parents. So some solutions would be an evangelization program to strengthen the parents' relationship with Christ. Whole family catechesis, which is an intergenerational approach, so that they can bring their whole family. If they have a toddler at home, if the grandmother lives with them at home, they can learn in an environment where the whole family is integrated. Also, parent catechesis classes, where we can have the parent discussing their faith with their peers and together in small group setting. Lastly, we have integrating the technology that they use on a day-to-day basis and include online lessons for sacramental preparation or to supplement our curriculum that we use in the classroom. And the next thing we need to do is also build community so that they feel that they belong. Family ministry activities that give them time to socialize with other families. Again, whole family catechesis, the evangelization, the parent catechesis, and also too giving them the opportunities to serve by keeping them informed of the ministries that they could find that they relate to and that they would find an interest in. So, out of all those solutions, we have to start somewhere. I think they all need to be implemented, but we have to evangelize the parents. We have to have a parent who has a personal relationship with Christ. If they don't have a personal relationship with Christ, how can they pass it on? And if they aren't participating and partaking in the sacraments, they can't pass on the traditions of our faith. So it's ironic that less than 30% of millennials find the need for reconciliation. So that's very telling in the fact that they are not putting the Eucharist as a source and summit of our faith, which is what we believe. They're not putting that emphasis on that. They're finding other aspects of the church, but they're not finding the true meaning in the sacraments and reaching out to bring their family together in that way. So with the Christ Life program is what we could use in order to evangelize them. And through the evangelization process, they will meet other Catholics. They will get the social aspect that they want. They'll be invited more into the sacraments and learn what forgiveness is and learn how to incorporate that into their daily life, which I think would be a good benefit to start as in an evangelization approach. Lastly, the parents who are not living out their call to discipleship cannot form a community of other believers. If they don't know it, they can't pass it on. If they don't believe it, they can't bring others in by telling and sharing their story. So we need to help them and build a parish community that's welcoming and inviting, that they want to share their story with other people, that they want to invite other people here to live their faith life with them, just like they live their life on the soccer field or in Boy Scouts or other clubs. So we have to hope that they can do that. And I do know that Pope Paul, John Paul said it very well. And he said, as the family goes, so goes society, and so goes the world in which we live. As Catholics, we know we are only one generation from not having a church. So if we do not focus on these parents, help them to get the faith formation they need in order to be the primary catechist of their children, then we need to focus on that in order to give them the tools that they need. So I believe that evangelization would be the place to start, then supplementing all the other changes to our programming so that we can build those disciples that will go out and spread the word and raise good children. Thank you for listening, and I know we'll talk about it further.
Thank you.
Thanks.